What's happening, BiggerPockets? It's Matt Faircloth. I am super excited to share you guys with a project we're in the middle of here in New Jersey. This is an enormous house. It is going to be a luxury home that we're about 3/4 of the way done. And I want to teach you guys the 3 tips you have to bear in mind when you're fixing and flipping a luxury home. What you got to do. You need to watch this if you have any desire at all to get involved in fix and flips in larger properties like this. We bought this house for $230,000. It was a third of the size of this, okay? We've added level, we've added lots of square footage to the house. I can't wait to show you guys what's going on here, and I'll go through all the numbers for you at the very end, so stick around for that too so we can go over the numbers. But first, I want to give you guys a tour and give you guys the 3 tips that you have to consider when you fix and flip a luxury home. Come on inside. So the first thing you have to consider when you're fixing and flipping a luxury house is you gotta go higher on your finishes. You can't go builder's grade or standard or El Cheapo, anything. It's gotta be perceived as something that's really nice. Whether you paid big money for it or not, it's got to be perceived as something, the finishes that fit a luxury home, right? This is not a standard door. It's not a door that you would just find off the shelf at any given big box, home remodeling store, right? This is a higher end door. This is probably a $700 to $800 door, right? And you might think like, oh my goodness, why would you put a $700 on your property? Well, because first of all, the door is the first thing you see when you walk into the home. And the higher end luxury finishes are things that needs to be into consideration when you buy your light fixtures, your sink fixtures, your floor tile, everything that's in the property. Everything's got to be a couple of bumps up. You cannot go for the builder's grade standard finish stuff that you might put into a rental or anything like that. For luxury homes, the home buyers are going to be looking at things like the style and the manufacturer of the door and your light fixtures and your sinks and your appliances and all that stuff all needs to be a few steps up. So do not chintz on the small stuff, on the little trims and finishes and things like that, because it will show for the people that are buying these types of properties. So let me give you guys a few specs on this house. This is a 3,500 square foot house. That's what it is now. It's not what it was when we bought it. I'll tell you more about that. But it's a 3,500 square foot house. It is a 5-bedroom, 4.5 bath. What? Huge. 2 master bedrooms and a half bath here on the first floor, several bathrooms upstairs, and a finished basement. Come on, you guys got to see this. So I just walked in the entrance door of this luxury home that we're remodeling, and I want to just point out that there's got to be certain wow factors where people walk in and they go, wow. Or some people call it sizzle, right? Whatever it is, wow, sizzle, whatever it is, you need to have something that just hits people in the face and says, oh man, I didn't expect that. This open double high ceiling throughout the whole foyer of the house is a wow factor. People are gonna walk in and go, wow, look at that. That's big. And you've got to have a few of those, like big open floor plans, wider areas that are interesting and stuff like that, wow factors. This house has a few wow factors. This double high ceiling, wow. Then this house has 2, not 1, but 2 master bedrooms. There's a master bedroom on the first floor, call it like an in-law suite if you want. And then there's an enormous master bedroom on the back. That's another wow factor. These are both big wows. When people come in, they're gonna go, wow, look at that. So you've got to make sure that on your luxury home flip that you're doing, you've got a few wow factors that absolutely knock people's socks off and that are unique, that people are gonna go, oh my goodness, that's not what I expected. Wow factors, that's number 2. So the last thing you guys need to have when you're renovating a luxury home is you gotta have just extra space, okay? You can't have just a home that's got a couple of bedrooms, a kitchen, a dining room, and a living room and expect to get a luxury home sale price for it. People that are buying luxury homes want a lot of room, and not just a large house. They want just space, little nooks and crannies and extra spots where people can say, oh, okay, I get why it's a little higher price because I've got this extra bonus thing, right? This room is just like a playroom. This is on the second floor, and we could have walled it off and made it another bedroom, but this would have made it a 6-bedroom house. Not really necessary, okay? So we just decided to just open up and make it like a reading room or a den or a library or a homework room or whatever the family wants to make it. This is an open room. That's extra space. Let me show you guys some other stuff that you guys can have. You can have finished basements. We're gonna finish this basement. It's not finished yet, so I'm not gonna bother showing you that. But you've also got just other little square footage nooks and crannies that you can have in your house. Like I said, finished basements, home libraries. You can have little foyers and stuff like that. This is another little creative little space, just a little spot, right? What are you gonna do with it? I don't know, let's find out. Maybe we can put a couch here, maybe make a little reading nook. Maybe you can make it a little, a little something for the kids to play outside the bedroom. Maybe you can make it like a small home office where the husband or wife could overlook down the downstairs area, whatever, right? And then in the master bedroom, you see in luxury homes, you see sitting areas, right? This is just a sitting area. I mean, honestly, this was the size of my bedroom growing up, but this is a little sitting area, okay, that the parents can have in their master bedroom. Look at the size of this. Look, what? This is a gargantuan room that you can have, and you always want to splurge on the master bedroom because the people that are writing the check for the house, this is going to be their bedroom. This is going to, speak to them a bit to have a gargantuan room for them. This has 2 walk-in closets and a full master bathroom down the hallway there, but it also has a really cool looking sitting room for them to use. Okay, so remember, go high end on your finishes, on your trim. That doesn't have to be the highest end you can go, but don't go builder's grade. Go, mid-range to high end on your finishes on the appeal of them. It doesn't have to be every nickel you can spend on it. It just has to have the appeal of a higher end finished piece, okay? And you can bargain hunt and get a great deal on it, but it's got to show really nice to your buyers, okay? The second factor, remember, just to review, is for your luxury home renovations, you got to have several big wow factors that have to knock their socks off when they walk in the door, right? And number 3, just sounds so simple, but you got to have some extra space, some extra room where they're like, oh man, what am I going to do with that? That's interesting. Let me talk about this little nook that I'm going to put. Maybe I can make it a reading room. Maybe I can make it a sitting area or a play area for the kids. Whatever it is, you want them to have those conversations and say, wow, this house has so much space. What am I going to do with it all? Because it feels like just prosperity. They got this extra room and they're going to want to pay you a few extra bucks for the house. Okay, so those are your 3 tips on the luxury home. Now let's go run some numbers. So this is a luxury house and it's sitting in New Jersey. It's about 3,500 square foot when it's going to be done. And so in this neighborhood at 3,500 square feet, it's going to be $795,000. That's our projection of the price for this property, okay? So that's a great number. Let's start here. But then I've got to pay someone to sell it, so I've got to pay a sales commission, which comes out to be about $39,000 is what the sales commission is going to be. So you take that off the top. Then we're going to take off another 2% for selling expenses and for title transfer and for title fees and for just closing costs and everything like that. So let's make that another $15,000, right? In just other closing costs. So I've got $795 minus my closing costs, okay? Then let's back down from construction, okay? So then we've got to take out construction because when we bought this property, you should see in the before and after shots, this was a single family, 1-story house, a little rancher. We added a second level to it. We blew out the floor plan, opened this whole place up. Didn't increase the footprint. We just went up on the house and added a whole level and then built out over top of the garage. It's an enormous renovation. Total construction cost is roughly $250,000. Is what our construction cost was on this property. So this should not be your first, second, or third deal, but once you think you're ready to go take on a luxury rental like this is called an add-a-level, and you can add a lot of square footage to a property without getting into zoning and building into the footprint of the property. You can just go up. Ranchers are great properties for add-a-level. So this is an add-a-level. We added a ton of square footage to the house. $250,000 was my budget for that. Then, unfortunately, it's New Jersey, so we have high real estate taxes, and also we borrowed the money from a private money lender, and it's taken upwards of a year to finish this project, so our total carrying cost is $75,000. So let's put that in there. So that includes real estate taxes, insurance, and interest on the money that we're with the private lenders that we're carrying this whole time. So $75,000. Just throw that in there too. So then you come down to what we bought the house for. So again, this was about 1,000 square foot rancher when we purchased it. Again, added a level, did a bunch of work to it on a nice piece of land. We paid $235,000 from this house when we bought it, okay? It is in rough condition. This was an estate sale, which by the way, I recommend that if you guys can find estates, there is no emotion attached to the house and everything like that. People just want to get rid of it and unload it, and they're not gonna have to haggle too much. And if you can close quickly, estates can be a great property to buy, and you're actually helping the family members out and allowing them to move on and take the property that was their loved ones and move it and pass it down to someone who can take it and bring it to the next level like this was, right? So So $235,000 was the buy price on the property, which brings us to a grand total. Back in the napkin numbers off of my cell phone, so please don't yell at me in the comment section if I got the numbers wrong. But our projected profit with my partner is $179,000 on this property. After a year's worth of work, a lot of risk, and a lot of renovation, that's the reward. Now, it's a great reward because what we did was we took something that was this big and we made it this big, and we did luxury finishes and a lot of work to make it worth a lot more than what it was when we purchased it. And we also made sure we found an area where there's also other luxury product going on. People don't want to buy luxury homes in this area, and there's a lot of other developments happening and things like that for properties that are this size that are selling around those numbers. So if you're going to take on a project like this, make sure that there's homes that are selling around that area, and you can find yourself the ugly duckling on the block that's not quite at the level of everything else and is just functionally obsolete. It's too small, it's too something, and it's something you can fix. Like for this house, we added a level. We added square footage to where it's at the level of the neighborhood with regards to size, and now it's able to compete with the other properties in the neighborhood on price. So, and one last thing, guys. So I did this whole deal with other people's money, with private capital. If you want to learn more about how to do this, there's no better way than by reading my book, Raising Private Capital. It's available on BiggerPockets. Go to biggerpockets.com/store. Pick yourself up a copy of it. You can even use the coupon code we've set up for you, which is LIVE Private Money, LIVE Private Money, and you can get a 20% off on the book at the BiggerPockets bookstore. Okay, the book is dedicated to teaching you guys how to help other people reach their wealth goals through investing with you in your business, so you can do more real estate deals and have them hit their wealth goals by getting a great return on their money that's outside of Wall Street. So that's what I got for you guys. Check me out on BiggerPockets, and check out BiggerPockets in general as a great community to learn more about real estate. Have a great profitable week.